Welcome back to the main stage here at the Call of Duty Championships EU Finals. It's grand final time. Just before we bring the action, it's TCM versus Epsilon, joined on stage by Joe Seacott. You're one of the multiplayer designers at Infinity Ward for Ghosts. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been awesome to be here.
Well, so we're trying to find the European champion, but we're about to see. It's going to be one of these teams. How have you found the tournament so far?
It's been really impressive. There's some really good teams here and some really good players. I'm definitely become a fan of a couple of them.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. That's good. So you picked up maybe they give you maybe sort of give you some shirts or something. Maybe take one away. So how does it feel to be in charge of or part of a team that develops multiplayer and actually see the best teams and the best players in the world sort of playing your game?
It's really I'd say it's humbling. I grew up watching like Quake 1, Thresh, those guys and to have a game that I worked on now be on a stage like this and have it go so smoothly and to see people playing at this level, it's really great.
It's your baby, right? So.
Yeah, well, our baby, not just mine. A lot of people take ownership of this baby.
Okay. So what's been your highlight of the tournament so far?
I think like just seeing some of the newer teams kind of coming out and like proving themselves, and you seeing them kind of like grow. I think like watching Tech, Mello. Saw some really good play there. I was really rooting for them. If they could just get a little more consistent, I think that there's opportunities there. I mean, we have the really good teams, but I really like seeing kind of the underdogs and rooting for them.
Okay, so what about talking about the big players? We've got a couple of questions in from the community here. One of them is, do competitive players surprise you often with the ways they find to play the game at the highest level?
Yeah, I think they do. I think it's really interesting. We talk about our baby, like a new game mode like Blitz. It's really cool to see that game mode kind of mature as it goes through tournaments, as people go through qualifiers, and see how the maps and the modes mature together, and see the interesting ways that the teams are essentially running like sports plays to win Blitz matches. I think that stuff like that's really awesome. Yeah,
I suppose it's because you see it change, and it's interesting to see the transition, right?
Yeah. It's something we can't predict as developers. We can lay the groundwork, we can find something that's solid, but then we just have to turn it over and kind of like watch it grow.
Okay. Just another question from the community. The MTAR and Remington are two of the most popular competitive play weapons. What do you think draws the pros to these weapons?
I think it's really interesting. It was kind of eye-opening for me to see what weapons would actually percolate to the top, because they're not necessarily the best weapons in all situations. The Remington's a slower fire rate. It's got a low ammo clip, but it's the consistency of those weapons. Consistent damage. The MTAR has the longest 3-shot kill range. You can definitely see it in play. And so the really good players, they can give up that ammo count. They can be efficient with their bullets, and then they can win those battles, play position, and really get the best out of that weapon. We see in public matches, you see more honey badgers, more vectors. You see people kind of like have their weapon and they have their play style, but in the pros, they're really just trying to get like every ounce out of that, like performance out of that weapon. Same with the MTAR. It's very consistent SMG, great mobility, a little bit blocky iron sights, but they get around that and they dominate.
So obviously in a few minutes we'll know who the European champions are. Yesterday we saw which 13 teams will be going to LA. How do you think the European teams are going to fare at the Worlds?
I think there's some newer teams. I think some of the U.S. teams are really good, but I think like today we've seen like really top-notch play. Some teams just crushing. I'm watching Epsilon. I think they're going to hold their own. I think we're going to see some surprising stuff in the U.S.
Great stuff. We had some questions for you via Twitter from the Silver Duck. Great name. What happened to capture the flag game mode? Is that where Blitz came from?
I thought this was an awesome question from Silver Duck. The Silver Duck, because it's actually true, and he hit the nail on the head. One of the designers, Infinity Ward, who came up with that mode, he actually capture the flag. He took the part that he really liked about that mode and kind of like tried to like pare down the rest of it, and we ended up with this very offensive, very aggressive game mode. You can play defense, but it just really pulls players out, and they're just running past each other, and it's really created this kind of new experience for the esports.
So the process was to take a great game mode and actually see where you could make it better and just refine it until you were really happy with it.
Yeah. We're always kind of like looking at like what we have and how we can improve it and how we can keep the game fresh.
Okay, awesome. Another one. We got some great names. Jenga Man 64. Maybe that was when he was born. Why did you ditch the 3-lane map design?
I don't think we essentially ditched it, but we definitely didn't. We wanted variety. With Ghost, you can definitely see we have the larger, slower maps. We have our Warhawk, our Sovereign, that are our more traditional 3-lane maps. We didn't want the monotony of kind of like each map playing the same way, and we know we have a user base of very different players with very different desires. And as we move forward, we take a lot of feedback from the community, and you can see in our DLC maps, we've actually brought the size down a little bit. And we're always adjusting, but the only way for us to get better is to try new things and to kind of put that out there.
Awesome. Okay, so always developing, always sort of trying to improve.
Yeah.
That's cool. And the final question was from the X2 Observer. Great. Was it easy programming and making the models for Michael Myers and all the other field orders?
That was actually, it was really cool how that kind of came about. We started with a map one of the designers was building, which was kind of like a swamp map. It then became kind of a horror theme map, and we're like, oh, what if we could get like a horror icon in there? And it came more down to time. We do all of our DLC post-ship. We're on a very tight schedule. We're still cranking on the game, the whole studio working on DLC, and so just getting that in there, just like it was so much fun when we got it in there initially. We were having a blast. We're like, we have to make this work, and those guys just stayed and worked really hard to make it happen. Yeah,
it's a crazy idea. Just all the guys around a boardroom table and say, "I've got a crazy idea. Let's make it work."
Yeah, we all sit in one big room, the MP team, and we kind of like someone will be like, "I have this idea," and then we just riff, come up with something. Someone's like, "All right, I'm doing that. It's mine."
Oh, you grab it. You just literally the ownership is just taken.
Yeah, it wasn't me this time, but someone was like, "I'm doing that," and then they made it happen.
Okay, Joe, thanks very much. One more question though. I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's going to walk away as European champions? Will it be Epsilon or TCM?
Oh, both these teams are so good. I'm going to go with Epsilon.
You're going to go with Epsilon? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll go with TCM there. They've got to have some support. I've got your back. Yeah, I've got your back, boys. Right, thank you very much, Joe, for joining us. That's great. So we're going to be back very, very soon for the grand final. This is what it's all about. It's about walking away with the title of European champions. Don't forget, there's 15,000 euros on the line. Winner takes all. One of these teams walks away with the money. Well done to all the teams who've qualified for LA. It's grand final time. We'll be back with the grand final very shortly. Do tweet the stream. If you're watching and you want more people to watch, the stream is available on mlg.tv/Gfinity. Please tweet it out. Raise the awareness of European COD esports. Look at them. They're gorgeous. 4 guys are going to pick them up very, very soon. We'll be back with the action. Welcome back to the main stage here at the...
Hello and welcome. It's time for the grand final here at the European Championship Regionals. I am Brycey, and joining me for this one is Hastro.
Hey, Brycey, it's good to be here. And we've had some amazing games so far today, and now we're down to our final 2 teams. It's going to be Epsilon facing off versus TCM. Regarded as the 2 top teams in Europe, both of them have managed to make this grand final.
Yeah, they certainly have. This is actually a game everybody has been waiting for all weekend. A lot of people talking about it, even on day 1, that these 2 teams were going to meet. This is actually the first time these 2 rosters have come against each other on LAN.
Yeah, and that's what is so exciting about this matchup. The first time these 2 teams have competed on Call of Duty Ghosts, the players that are on both of these teams are so familiar to the competitive Call of Duty community, some veterans, but we have a couple newcomers as well. Yeah. And it should be interesting to see how these 2 teams match up here.
Yeah, it really should. Now, actually talking about that interview that was just done on the stage with us, talking about Blitz as well, like the way that, Activision and Infinite would have looked at it. Unbelievable. It's kind of like looking at the aspect of how aggressive they've made that game.
Yeah, so we had Joe Seacott here, a multiplayer designer from Infinity Ward. Great interview by him on the stream, if you just caught that. He was talking a little bit about Blitz. We had some questions from the fans about the Blitz game mode, and that's something that has been great to watch, the evolution of the game mode Blitz from its first LAN that we had.
No one knew how to play it.
Right, we had it at MLG Columbus, I think was kind of the debut of that game mode for the spectators, and all of us in the crowd there were blown away. I mean, you heard roars from the crowd at MLG Columbus there in the US, but now here at the European Grand Championship, this is going to be a final with that game mode that we get to see that play between these 2 teams. And, European, from that perspective of being in Europe and seeing the European teams play it, they're so aggressive with the Blitz gameplay, and I think that is a stark contrast to the way some of the North American teams play. They seem to play a little bit more passive. So those storylines are what we're getting into now. We get to see how the European teams play Blitz as opposed to the American teams, and pretty soon they're going to be facing off in that $1 million tournament in Los Angeles, where we actually get to see those play styles go head-to-head.
Well, that's the great thing. You always see this melting pot when the 2 communities actually come together, because you got to remember these teams don't really play each other all that often. It's only big tournaments they really meet up for. So they go for this sort of different play styles, and they'll come against each other and go, wait a minute, that's a little bit better. We need to adapt that into our play style. Yeah.
I was watching a game earlier. I think it was a Vitality versus maybe Epsilon game. Yeah. I think it was, and the scores were just going crazy in Blitz, and that's something that I'm really excited to see between these 2 teams, and I think that's just a great point you made, bringing up the Blitz game mode.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now, let's get on and introduce these 2 teams in the grand final. These teams, obviously very familiar to everybody in Europe. They are the same names that always come up here. And as I said, TCM, first of all, these guys, they're actually the last LAN winners in Europe. They did win at iSeries a little while ago now. For me, a few people actually favouring Epsilon this weekend, but for me, TCM's still looking so strong.
Yeah, you definitely can't count them out at all. You have the roster here. You have Marky B, Mad Cat, Moose, and Gunchi, and 3 of those players I'm extremely familiar with. Moose, not so much. He's kind of like the new young gun on that squad.
Yeah, he certainly is. And you know what? He's actually really come into his own on Ghost. All his teammates love him as well. It's really looking like one of the big factors for TCM.
Yeah, and that's something I'm excited to see personally, because I just don't have as much experience watching him play. But certainly Mad Cat, one of those players that's very explosive, and that's somebody that we want to highlight here. Maybe let's talk a little bit about Mad Cat. I think we have some player cards that are actually going to be popping up on the screen.
Let's bring the player cards up now. And there, the man we were talking about first of all,
Moose.
it is TCM Moose. This guy, like I said, he's kind of new, coming up through the rosters, and like I said, his whole team, he's a factor. It's no denying about it. This guy, when he goes off, can possibly be the biggest influence on a game. Yeah,
and I actually had the chance to talk with TCM owner Jim, and Jim, had something to say about Moose. He said, he's one of those players that can just go off at any moment and light up the scoreboard. And now on your screen, you see Mad Cat. This is the player I want to talk about a little bit. Mad Cat has just turned 18 years old. It's his first time to be able to qualify for the $1 million tournament, the World Championship.
Yeah.
You have to be at least 18 years old. But Mad Cat is certainly no stranger to the scene. He's been a player that's been around for a while. He's made a couple of appearances in North America now, I believe. He did attend MLG Columbus.
Yes, he did.
And he, even though being a young player, he's one of the most dominant slayers you're going to find coming out of Europe.
Oh, this guy, I said, there's a reason this guy has a nickname as the best player in Europe, and he's proven it time and time again. I said, he's so hungry now to compete in the big leagues. This is his opportunity. He keeps saying it, this is my chance. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, and so Mad Cat, again, just pay attention to his slaying power. He's one of the more passive players that you're going to see on the map, but certainly a player that's going to lock down the map for TCM.
Yeah, he's one of his famous sayings is he runs a flawless sub.
Oh, flawless sub.
Runs a flawless sub.
Because he just doesn't run it, right?
Yeah, well, he does actually. He's switching around with his team. Like the man we're just switching on to now, Gunchy, is the guy who's mainly going to be ARing for TCM. He is probably the most achieved player in Europe at the moment. And like I said, he just does so much work for the team. He's really started shining again on this TCM roster, and I think he's found a home he's going to stay at for a while.
Yeah, Gunchy's been a mainstay player in the professional Call of Duty scene. I mean, all the way back to the Call of Duty 4 days, back 5-6 years ago now. And he's been a player that has made a name for himself throughout the years. He played in the first Call of Duty XP championship. He's been in the $1 million tournament last year. And, one of those players that's just a mainstay coming out of Europe is Gunchy.
He certainly is. Now moving on to the last, but by no means least, it's Marky B. And I think he's definitely one of the fan favorites as well. He just seems to have this cult following, always smiling, always happy. One of the fastest talking men I have ever met in my life.
Oh, he is. Marky B is just one of those players you have to love on TCM. Like you said, always smiling. He's one of the players' favorites, too. I think the North American players all love Marky B and watching him play. And, at the Gfinity tournaments, that's one of the things I want to highlight. The American players just get a good laugh out of the things Marky B has to say in mid-game, He's just one of those vocal players for his team. He makes sure that he's always got TCM running, hot and ready to go. So Marky B is certainly one of those players that we're going to look to here for TCM to make an impact.
The amount of times this guy has blown his voice out just by the amount of times he calls out in-game, he is a massive hype player. But that's enough about TCM for now. Let's have a look at Epsilon.
Yeah, so Epsilon is going to be a four-man roster with Swanee, Jerd, Tommy, and Flux. And on your screen is the Irishman there, Jerd. Then he goes by King Jerd. That's his nickname.
Mr. does what he wants.
And there's a big fan cheer for King Jerd. And I think he heard that there. So he got a little smirk on his face. But Jerd, tell me a little bit about him, Bryce. My experience with Jerd is that he is just an explosive player, very aggressive.
He certainly is. I mean, he really got his fame coming up through Hardpoint on the last game. This game, he's still that mainstay slayer. He just keeps pushing through. And the things he does when he's playing, you can just see him go off. It's always known as the Jerd effect. And like I said, he's known as Mr. Does What He Wants because when he wants to go big, he certainly does.
Yeah, so that is Jerd there on your screen. And to his left, we're going to have to kind of pan the camera here. Let's get our next player in frame. He, do we want to talk more about Jerd? Nope. No, there we go. Right. There's Flux.
The Peruvian himself, it is Epsilon Flux. Ex-TCM player, only left that roster quite recently. He actually has switched over to their main rivals, Epsilon. He actually got dropped from TCM after 2.5 years in that roster. So he's kind of looking for a little bit of revenge, I think.
Yeah, and that just adds to the storyline here. Flux looks quite serious right now, and he's probably seeking a little bit of revenge there with his former teammates, and I'm sure he's extremely happy to be here in this championship match facing off against TCM.
This is it. Last year, Flux lost out at the opportunity of the regionals to go to the World Championships, so he knows he's qualified now, so he's already quite happy at that. The other thing Flux is known for is just kind of just breaking the meta of what guns people use. Black Ops 2 started using the Chicom, but he was one of the first players I ever saw to use the Bulldog, now widely used across Europe. He's also very well known for his grenade skills.
Okay, and that's something I actually wanted to bring up. A lot of these players coming into this World Championship and qualifying within their regions on these certain continents, it takes another level of practice. And even coming down to practicing your grenade spots, like off spawn, coming in off spawn, where can you tactically place a grenade right away that's going to make an impact on the other team, whether that be in Domination or Blitz. We call it closing the door. If you can place a grenade into a choke point right when you spawn, it's called closing the door. It closes that door with a grenade, basically. If there's an alley where a player's coming through, you can lock that down by a well-placed grenade, and that's something great to bring up. So let's look to see if we can find some impactful flux grenades.
Yeah, the flux nades are well known for the community. He's one of the first people to start running double nades everywhere, and he just managed to throw them 2 different areas of the map and always hit 2 people. But the next player on our roster, let's have a little look. It's gonna be Callum Swan, well known to everybody internationally. Swanee, or Swan Dog, as he's also known. Little cheeky wink to the camera there.
So Swanee, I hate to play favorites, but he has always been my favorite European pro. He has always been the man that just has been so consistent. Dominant AR player, always has just some of the best accuracy you're going to find, some of the best map awareness you're going to find. I've played with him for years and seen him dominate all the way back to the Call of Duty 4 days as well. And, he's actually teaming with Gunshi here, and it should be known that him and Gunshi have played quite a bit together in the past
and now they're on opposite rosters. I mean, they played together at G2, and now they're at opposite rosters again. Like I said, the rivalries between these 2 teams are ridiculous.
Yeah.
All these players have such huge rivalries. Also, he has a small rivalry with Madcat. Like they kind of used to play the same role. It was always them 2 being compared.
Yep, absolutely. And then here you go. Tommy is now on your screen. Brycey, tell me a little bit about Tommy. I know quite a little bit about Tommy. He's another one of those players I think that deserves a lot of recognition.
Oh, he certainly does. He's one of the favorites. He's got a huge following. He's actually just come back from a little bit of a hiatus. He's been playing in French teams for just under a year. Finally back on English soil with this team here. He's really settled in. Nickname the Game Changer, and there's a very good reason for that.
Yeah, and see, I feel like we need music for Tommy.
Oh,
it's just that it would just be that appropriate for this man. But Tommy, again, you say he's being called the game changer, and that's something that I think he's just been consistent. For me, I don't know if that fits him so much. From what I've watched in the European scene, seeing Tommy play, he's always near the top and finishes. He's a podium mainstay.
I promise you right now, by the end of this final, you will see why we called him the game changer. Some of the things he does just completely out of the blue and just wrecks people to, just out of the game.
Okay, so this is going to be a big-time matchup. Those are going to be your 8 players facing off here, Epsilon and TCM. What do we have next, Brycey?
Well, I believe the game is actually just about to get underway, and I think TCM have just got so hyped that they shook the stage in the booth, and we should be able to jump into this game now. It's going to be Domination Sovereign, and these 2 teams are really ready to go to war. They're ready for this. They've been waiting for it all weekend. They've been eyeing up the competition, and now they finally get ready to let loose all of those revenges they want to take on each other.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you see the smiles disappear off the faces of the players. I mean, they are getting intense, and that's something that these players are going to show you. They're going to be taking this extremely seriously. We have 15,000 euros on the line with this one match alone, winner take all. So second place is going home with no money, but both of these teams have qualified for the World Championship in Los Angeles. But again, 15,000 euros, that is not a small haul.
No, that is not a small amount. It's one of these things, winner takes all is actually making it more intense for these players. They know second place gets absolutely nothing. So we've got the storyline, the European Championship, the seed, and the money is all going to be in these players' heads just going forward into this. But let's crack into the game. It's Epsilon Tommy first up.
Yep, we are playing Sovereign Dom here, and off the break, you got Tommy with the Bulldog. He's moving quickly towards the B flag. He's got a trophy system as well. He's going to see a contested player here coming around from blue side, and let's see if he manages to capture this flag right off the break, picking up a nice kill right there as well. So big play out of Tommy.
It wasn't, he's just trying to hold it down, but now Swanee's going to try and have to go clutch here. The man himself, he's going to have to just try and go Overwatch. There are a few TCM players around him. So Swanee's just going to set up somewhere and just dominate long range and try to give his team room to breathe.
And Swanee's holding top nest right here, and that's the way he plays. He uses this AR to his advantage, extremely accurate, like we said. There's going to be a player contesting there on the other side from green. Both players go down right there. It was Swanee and Flux. Gunshi throwing a couple nades here. No, actually Gunshi on the flag. So he's going to get that capture, and TCM is going to now have control with 2 flags.
They certainly are. TCM, this is going to be the first time they get it, and it can be so crucial here. You actually saw that was a massive battle for almost a minute long just to get B in the middle, and both teams, they know each other so well. They've gone for it, but all of TCM actually go down, and it's now Epsilon's time to try and put the pressure on.
Yeah, now you see Flux getting that 2 flag cap there with that B capture, and he's immediately pushing for that next flag. However, there is a player that did manage to get the A spawn, and I'm not sure exactly who that is, but Epsilon is going to have to turn back for him at some point. Now TCM picking up 2 flags.
Yeah, Marky B was actually the player that managed to turn that around, but jumping on board with Madcat now, both these teams, they're running all over the map, trying to counter every single play the other team is making at the moment. And there is Madcat as he does get shut down. It's Gunshi left alive on a B. He's trying to secure it for his team. Does manage to hold it as Marky B spawns up with him, and they now have the opportunity to pin Epsilon in.
Yeah, now you see TCM on the map, having to gain a little control here before they can just kind of rack up the points. So there is one player threatening TCM from Epsilon near the B flag at the moment. He does jump on that flag. There you see Gunshi picking up a crucial kill. Can he take out Jerd? Jerd on the flag for Epsilon right now. And Marky B trying to hold down blue side for his team. Can he make it happen? It looks like TCM do manage to get control back. So TCM looking pretty solid here, Brycey.
Yeah, there's time. Like I said, these two teams are well known to each other. They've had so much rivalries going on. Every 2K they're in the final, and now they get to unleash on LAN against each other. Everything on the line. This is where you prove who's the better team, and they really are going to war as Gunshi gets taken down. The usual tactic by TCM is they try to always neutralize that C. They try to get in there, put the pressure on the other team, and it looks like Epsilon are equal to them. They're not letting them to get in there.
Yeah, and I like where Madcat is set up right now. See, TCM is doing a great job choking Epsilon out little by little now, and as they have that 2 flag advantage, that's what you need to do here on Sovereign. You need to get good map control and bleed the other team out. I like this strategy out of TCM.
Yes, and they go Marky B picking up another kill. And they're just trying to keep control of each team. Both teams are like this counterplay. They're trying to make their own plays, but at the same time stop the other team doing the exact same thing. They're all over the map, and they are going to leave nothing at home now. I mean, they've been talking about secret strategies all weekend.
Yeah, but Tommy just went massive on the B flag yet again for Epsilon. So now Epsilon has the 2 flag advantage. Tommy 10 and 9 with 2 captures on the board. So this is certainly going to be a close round here. A minute and a half left to go on the first side of this Sovereign Dom, and only 3 points separate our teams.
Here we are now. They're going to try and push up. They're going to try and do exactly what TCM tried to do. And Jerd's actually just picking up a 2-piece. Jerd is really going off at the moment. 14 and 7, double positively dies as I switch to him. But like I said, these are the plays that are really going to make this one way or the other. As he does get shanked, as TCM managed to pick up 3, dropping 3 of Epsilon now, and they are pushing in, homing in on that B point.
Yeah, they are pushing really aggressively for that B flag. Can they manage to capture it? It looks like they're going to have no problem doing that. So TCM, back and forth we go, getting control of 2 flags now. Marky B going down on green side of the map, and let's see if Moose can lock this down. In a great position to pick up that kill. Nothing sneaky being allowed for Epsilon at the moment as Moose is just locking down that side of the map. And they did actually manage to make a B push here, but it's not going to kind of pay off for them there. I think it was Flux that picked up a kill. And now Swanee picks up another one as well for Epsilon, but that's just not enough because they need a good 2 or 3 players down from TCM at the moment if they're going to regain control of that B flag.
Look at this, Moose waiting. He is going to go for the split as well. Epsilon going to have to come back to deal with that. He's going to give his team a little bit more room to breathe, and he's going to take him on as well. Moose, this is where he starts becoming a factor. He's just going to keep pushing here. He made this play by himself. He's given TCM room to breathe. They should go into the second half just ahead.
Well, let's see here. TCM is still got 2 flags controlled, but look at this, contested by Epsilon on both sides. TCM making a very nice play though, however, capturing control of this B flag. They're gonna get it, maybe, they are probably gonna get a point out of that. I believe they got it with about 6 seconds left, but oh my gosh, this is gonna be so close at the end. 8 points separating these 2 teams, but TCM on your screen there, getting the advantage. They have the 8-point advantage, Brycey, heading into the second side, but both you and I know in a match like this, that is not very much.
It is not. Looking at Jerd at the top there, 17 and 9 with 3 captures. He really went off for his team. He tried to stop the bleed. TCM only managing to get that few points ahead. And like I said, it's going to be so close. They are going to unleash every single strat they've got. They know each other so well. Like you saw, counterplay after counterplay from both teams.
Yeah, and I think what the difference in that match was TCM locking down the map just a little bit more than Epsilon. Epsilon was really kind of moving around the map quite a bit and trying to flank the opposing team's back flag. And that's something that can actually kind of get you in trouble sometimes. Epsilon still did a pretty good job of doing that, but TCM, with that strategy of just locking down 2 flags, I feel like that always pays off a lot more, and they did a good job of locking that map down.
Yeah, they certainly did it. But for me, it was just, like I said, the individual plays by some of the players, they really trade back and forth. And you saw all the way up until about the 4th minute of that map, it was just a dead heat. Every single time one would get B, someone would try and split, pull players away so they could get the numbers back into that B point and recapture it. And both these teams, they run kind of similar strategies in the way they actually play this map. When they get to, they push forward, try to not actually let anybody split through, and then just keep pushing the spawn.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to see on the second side here again. I mean, there are obviously going to have to be some adjustments by the Epsilon side. TCM with that 8-point advantage heading into the second half here. Brycey, what's your prediction on this one?
I'll be honest with you, I think TCM probably will take this first domination. I feel like they are slightly better at it, and this team, I think the chemistry is fantastic. They really have this lockdown. This map as well, it seems to be one of their favorite maps to play, and that's why I think they're going to do it. They usually, when they play it, they usually win, but it's usually quite close. Yeah,
and they're certainly looking composed there. You know, on the other side, Jerd dropping 17 and 9. He had a huge round right there. And on the bottom there, you had Flux. And if Flux can actually just come through and make a couple more you know, poignant kills for the team, maybe that makes the difference here for Epsilon. I feel like this is just so close. 8 points to me is absolutely nothing. It's basically a draw on some of these maps. So, of course, you got to give it to TCM that they have that little advantage. But going to the second side, it's certainly going to be close. So far, the match has lived up to the hype.
Well, for me, people like Flux, he seems that he is the man that is in control of B. He's usually running the shotgun. He's usually got nades he can whip straight into it. That's where you'll usually find him, around that area, because if somebody goes in, it's up to Flux to stop him down. Jerd will probably usually push forward to try to clear people down. The same thing with Tommy, and then, you know, Swanee will set up somewhere.
Yeah, and so, you know, maybe that's evidence also for Flux, you know, being more of an objective role for his team and just making sure that he can shut Epsilon down, or sorry, TCM down in the middle of the map. But here we go, Flux positioning himself right in the middle, right off the break. He doesn't run into anybody here from TCM. He's just kind of waiting patiently, and let's see if this pays off for him.
Like I said, there's a player going on, and now Flux makes his move. This is exactly what he said. He is the keeper of B, and he does go down as soon as he does it, though, as TCM counter him straight away. I predict both these teams are going to take a while to get into B. They're just going to fight tooth and nail. Like I said, they're kind of just setting up around it. Neither team want to make themselves a bit vulnerable by going in first.
Yeah, there's some certain strategy going on here right now. There's a call out from Tommy as he did get some hit markers into that player. His teammate, that was Flux, picks it up. Now Epsilon making a great move for this B flag. I love what they're doing right here. Jerd on kind of on the back end there, picking up some hit markers as well. So it looks like they just didn't manage to get it right there, and now TCM with the counter.
Monstercat is actually 3-0 at the moment, and TCM have finally got in. It was Epsilon that went for the first push. They did a great push as well, coming up both ladders at the same time, shutting it down, but TCM were equal to it. But now Epsilon coming straight back in, but no, incoming triple nade by Moose, shutting them completely out, and you can hear the scream from TCM's booth. They know that was a big kill, and they should get that B back, and they have the opportunity to lock the map down now.
Oh, huge grenade coming out of Moose right there for TCM. It doesn't get much better than that, Brycey. That's a game-changing grenade right there, picking up 3 kills on that B flag. And now you see Epsilon actually comes roaring right back. They don't care. They're saying, look, TCM, you get that 3-piece nade. We're coming right back, and we're still taking that B flag. They do manage to get it contested now. And you see Madcat putting some very nice shots from caution to caution across the map. And he picks up another kill right there, getting enough damage onto that player, jumping off the top nest. So TCM and Epsilon going head-to-head right here, Brycey. It's still going to be a little bit of an advantage for the TCM squad as they're up by 7 on this side. So now 15 points in their favor.
Madcat actually changing up. He does decide to just go Overwatch there, and he was just dropping anybody who decided to come in. But it's Marky B. He's going to have to challenge now. Unfortunately, he's going to be right in the gun side there. Let's jump on board with Tommy, who is in. Does going to get wallbanged as well. Like I said, these players know this map so well that you can't even hide when you're on the B point.
Yeah, but TCM is just doing the better job right now of maintaining control of their B flag, and Epsilon is just really trying to get in there. And let's see, Epsilon did have a little bit of control there for a second, and it looks like they're going to regain that. They're actually going for the 3 cap as well. There is a player at A. Let's see if that actually goes down. That player is going to be, oh my goodness, that was Jerd shutting down Madcat. He does get the contest, so Epsilon bringing a little bit of that that deficit back here, Brycey. They're doing
Yeah,
a
they
really
certainly
good job.
have, and they now have the 2 as well. They're going to try and pin them in here. It's Moose has managed to slip the net, and if he can get behind them, trying to get a beat, pull them away from their back line. They are going to be careful because that is another flank. Who is that who's got around the back? It's Jerd again, taking down the trophy system. He knows there's going to be people coming up. So look at that for awareness as Jerd still goes off. Mr. does what he wants, says, I'm having A, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Meanwhile, TCM managing to get the B flag, but 2 Epsilon players right there coming right back, trying to regain control. So Epsilon making their case right here, just running back and forth across the map. It looks like Epsilon might gain control of this B flag again. However, Epsilon is on that C flag, so let's see. This is going to be really close, Brycey.
Jerd still alive, actually just captured the A point, run all the way in, consistent in capturing the B. Let's jump on board with Monstercat, 11-6 at the moment. He's putting the hammer down for, in terms of slaying ability. His teammates now going to try and take B, but that nade has gone in. B now neutral, and I believe that will make it just, I think, slightly in the favor of TCM still.
Yeah, so
No,
Epsilon.
it should be Epsilon by 1 point.
No, Epsilon actually, yeah, they are up by 1 point. So Epsilon has managed to bring it back. They've kept TCM from regaining control, but now Gunshi on a flag. TCM on every flag actually right now. This could be a TCM advantage. 1 minute left to go.
1 second. They have managed to get it. That's a triple cap in full effect. And now Epsilon have the work to do. It looks like they're going to try and take it back as quickly as possible. It's going to be up to Swanee to hold off as long as possible. Not able to do it as the teams fight tooth and nail over every point on this map. And TCM just come off a little bit better.
Yeah, we only have a 4-point difference in the total of the score between these 2 teams right now. 35 seconds left to go. You see TCM does have the 2 flag lead right here, so they will win this round if they manage to maintain control. But big kill coming out of Swanee right there on the B flag. Monstercat, however, does manage to pick up a grenade somehow. I'm not sure exactly how that happened, but it looks like I don't know if the trophy system got him right there.
I think it might have. That's happened a few times over this weekend. But now Epsilon have the 2. It's going to be very, very close. I don't think they're able to do it without a triple cap. I think this is now TCM's as it ticks over. They are only 4 points ahead. There's only 2 they can get from a 2. And so that's going to be it. TCM are going to take the first map here on this. And look at them go wild. They know they need that first map.
Yeah, and they're definitely hyped right now. TCM just jumping out of their chairs. You see Monstercat still on his feet, looking for some love out of Marky B. He gets it, giving the fans some love as well. And Moose, gotta say that was a huge game changer. That 3-piece grenade, it was just massive for TCM. Epsilon had the clear advantage in that moment, and it was a huge play.
Catch all 3 in 1 grenade. I believe we have a highlight of it that we can actually play for you guys once again. So here it is, the triple nade from Moose that just kind of, like I said, broke Epsilon for a minute, and that kind of thing, 1 nade that comes in.
Yeah, and this is the game-changing play again. This is Moose here. Monstercat looking top nest, knowing that Epsilon's going to be dropping down. He gets taken out. 3 players jump onto that B flag, and there you see it, boom, in the kill feed. All of those Epsilon players jumping on that
Epsilon
flag.
had the B point right up until that come in. 1 nade made a difference.
Yep. And they didn't even manage to get the capture on it. They only managed to get the contest off of it, and immediately TCM recaptured it, and that made them just gain all the momentum, in my opinion. Epsilon did try to push forward to that B flag one more time aggressively. It just did not work out in their favor, and that was all the difference in the game.
It certainly was. So TCM win by 2 points on the Domination. We'll be back for the S&D right after this. Hello and welcome back. It's time for map number 2. It's S&D between these 2 Titans, and you can't think it's going to be anything else than close.
Oh, I'm expecting some fireworks out of these 2 teams in Search and Destroy. It should be a really intense matchup. That Domination was great, what we just saw. Very close round, but TCM ultimately taking that 1-0 series lead. We're playing a best of 5 here, right, Brycey?
Yes.
So first team to win 3 maps in this series is going to be your European champion. They're taking home 15,000 euros and those 4 beautiful trophies.
Speaking of competition, we actually have a competition for the MVP. You can vote at home. Who do you think is the most valuable player here? you get a chance to vote on the Twitter.
Oh, yeah. So definitely check that out. It's going to be MVP voting for
Yep.
the European Championship here. So we're going to give a little explanation on how to do that on Twitter. So
I believe so. That should be coming up on our screens any second now. There we go. Tweet your MVP, and it's going to be hashtag TCM, Moose, Gunchi, Magcat, or Marky B. And it should be on the other side. It should be hashtag Epsilon, Epsilon, Swanee, Jerd, Tommy, or Flux.
Yep. So definitely tweet that over to Gfinity, I believe. Is that where you're supposed to tweet it?
I believe the hashtag is good enough. There you go. The hashtags are coming up on your screen right now.
Just drop the hashtag on Twitter, however you want to tweet it. Just put that hashtag on Twitter for whichever player you believe is the European Championship MVP.
I believe we're going to have a quick restart due to the teams actually picking the wrong side. That does occasionally happen on this. If you pick the wrong side and spawn in, and when you try to change team, it will not let you actually spawn back into the game.
And Gunshi wins that war on the TCM side.
Let's hope that's the first time and last time he gets team killing in this game.
Yeah.
But there you go, guys. If you do want to tweet your MVP, use the hashtags you did see on your screen. TCM or Epsilon, it's the most valuable player, and it's your vote.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely tweet that. I might have to tweet here in a second as well when I'm not on the camera.
Who you're thinking? Who's your opinion for MVP right now after one map?
I don't know so far, but I didn't really get to catch the final scoreboard there. But Moose definitely had that huge three-piece grenade. I think that was a really big heads-up play.
Not only that, but Moose is when he went around the flank and he actually turned to get the split there to let his team back in.
Yep.
Just holding and that
Absolutely.
awareness when he shot the guy off A.
Yep.
That was definitely a big play from him.
Yep, Moose might have my vote so far, but at the same time, on the other side, Jerd was putting up some very big numbers for Epsilon, even though his team did not manage to close out the map. But, it's going to be close. We'll see.
It is. I mean, I was going to say, there are so many people. I was going to go on to Magcat. Magcat also had a fantastic game at the same time.
Yep.
But I'm sitting there going, well, realistically, any of those players at the moment could be in contest. It's also very close between just who's trying to excel.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as we go into this S&D, I think somebody's going to make a case and further their way up the voting. I think we're going to see the hashtags change a little bit. But
I'm
right
actually
now,
looking forward to see some of these players on S&D. There are S&D specialists in both squad. For me, Gunchi, probably one of the best players on TCM. And looking at Epsilon, you've got to kind of go with Tommy for this one. Yeah.
Okay. And then Swanee's always been a very strong S&D player also, that I've seen in the past. His passive play, I think, comes out and shines in S&D, where he can lock down a certain area of the map with his AR. Mm-hmm. I think he is always kind of keen to pick up a couple early kills in S&D if a player challenges him. So it's going to be something to watch.
Well, especially on this map. I mean, this map is infamous for the way it usually plays out. Both teams kind of just get into their battle lines and stay there for 30 seconds, checking every single angle, every single point, just trying to find someone to snipe off. And then as soon as that first pick is made, it usually goes into a strategy that they've got.
Yeah, I love Freight, Search, and Destroy. This map is just so much fun to watch because there's just really defined choke points on the map. You have that wide open middle area of the map. You can kind of duck behind a couple things there. I love seeing the smokes come out, the thermals come out. You see a lot of just great strategy from teams that play this map. You have to play it strategically or else you're going to fail. You just cannot have a lack of communication with your teammates on Freight S&D.
No, you cannot. So on board with Jerd, first of all, let's see what he's going to do. Is it standard? No, Jerd's going for a very aggressive push. Look at this. It is, in fact, going to be the fast plant from Jerd. They've got this down straight away. Look at that, the speed.
That is no joke. I don't think he could have planted the bomb any faster than that, Pricey. It's literally like a record bomb plant right there.
That's
and
just
now,
straight out of the gate.
And now you see some checks coming in, stun check coming out of TCM. Jerd jumping up on top of the train at the very wrong moment. Big snipe coming out of Tommy to defend that bomb plant right now. Let's stay on board with him.
No.
He does have the separate.
They've done this once before this evening. It's Moose. This is the second time he's managed to get a ninja defuse. He's got it again! Moose has ninja defused for the second time in this tournament as many games as he has played.
That is unbelievable. Moose just did not
Exact
care
same map as
whatsoever.
well.
He said, you know what, you're going to plant that bomb that fast, I'm going to defuse it that fast. And he did just that right there, Brycey.
That's the second time he's done that.
Came right on in. That's unbelievable. He actually had a teammate up as well. I can't believe that Epsilon allowed that to happen right there.
Well, as soon as I saw him on it, I knew it had to be him. That's why I went straight to him. Getting the ninja defuse Moose, he countered the fast plant by Epsilon by going for a faster defuse. And TCM are now 1-0 up in this S&D. Back on board with Moose.
And that's just great strategy. Great heads-up play out of Moose, furthering his case for the MVP voting. So here we go, on board with Moose again. He's getting stunned. He's getting shot at. I believe Epsilon knows exactly where he is. He's going to turn around about face. And now we're back on board with Tommy here, who has the sniper for Epsilon.
He does now. Tommy, it's not the greatest weapon to have in a 1 versus 3. kind of limited by what you can do, but he does pick up the first kill. 1 versus 2 now. Can Tommy get further in this 1 versus 3 clutch?
Bomb is down for TCM as well, so Tommy has to worry about that. 35 seconds to go. He's got 2 players to worry about, and he only has a sniper out here, Brycey. This would be certainly an amazing clutch if he can make it happen.
It is. Like I said, this is probably not the weapon he wants in this kind of situation. Great for making picks, great for locking down areas of the map. Not so great when you've got to act fast. And he knows that player's in it. Is he going to go for the defuse first? No, he's going to try and pre-aim with the pistol. The guy's going behind him. Unfortunately, Tommy's going to go, and he is going to get taken down. And that is now 2-0 to TCM.
TCM coming out on fire right now, Brycey, in these first 2 rounds. And even though Epsilon has managed to do some pretty solid things, TCM just comes right back and counters it. Great job by them. Now you see your scoreboard there, Moose 1-0. You see Marky B at 4-2 for TCM. On the other side, Tommy is 3-1 with that sniper rifle.
He certainly is. I'm going to stay on board with Tommy for this. He's actually going to change out. No longer sniping. He's going to be using a thermal R5, and he's got a muzzle brake on it as well, so he looks like he wants to do some serious damage.
Yep, so Tommy, you know, ditching that sniper for more of an aggressive takedown approach here on the map and picking up some, no, doesn't even hit the hit markers right there. And who is that challenging him at the moment? Oh my goodness.
And now it's all but down to Swanee. Swanee left alone on 1 versus 2. He's already picked up 1. So it was a 1 versus 3. Can he continue this one on? He does have the bomb as well.
You know, sometimes in this Oracle mode, you just want to be like, shoot him, Swanee. But, you know, they can't see those players on the map here in the broadcaster mode. But, oh, here we go. Great burst fire out of Swanee, but that player does not go down. He could have breathed on him and he would have died in the next shot. But here we go. Swanee turning around here towards the A bomb site. And I don't want to speak too loudly here, but bomb was going down. And there you see TCM taking a 3-0 lead here, Brycey.
Moose is now 3-0 on this team. Decides to go for the challenge, comes around the corner and does see him. There's nothing Swanee could have done. And there we go, the shot into the body as well at the end there.
I can't say that I disagree with Swanee's decision there to try and plant that bomb in the 1v2. It's really,
if he had made that kill, that would have been a very different story, I think.
Absolutely, you know, but in a 1v2, when you have an opportunity to plant that bomb, it's always a good decision because it's much easier to hold off 2 players with the bomb down as it is to just trying to take out 2 of them without anything for them to care about on the map. So here we go, on board with Moose again. This is round number 4. TCM does have that commanding lead, and Moose does get spotted, and some shots being fired at him. Can he pick up this kill with the grenade? And it looks like that player is going to have some resistance, so not going to go down. And now they're going to have 2 players here for TCM trying to take him out.
Now, it's interesting, most rushes end up going towards red, but TCM probably going to avoid that area because they know Swanee is going to be in there. That is basically Swanee's house on this map. If he's on the defense, he's in red.
Yeah, and you see that Moose has cut it all the way back around. They're not going to threaten from the underground side anymore, and he is going to be sitting in mid-map with his teammates, kind of getting his a nice little half circle of cover behind Moose right now, so they're trying to protect him.
The problem TCM are going to start facing is that although they haven't really got anywhere on this map, the time is going to start running out. And there we go. Hey, we can take it down. Moose is going to have to make this kill. Does he manage to make it? No, they managed to get away. It was Tommy who managed to pick that one up. But now TCM are 2 men down. They don't really have a lot of time to do anything.
Yep, 19 seconds on the clock. They need some time to plant that bomb, but Marky B picking up a huge kill right there. There's another player. Oh, Marky B going huge. Jerd last alive, but he goes down as well. And that's going to be Mad Cat picking that kill up.
Let's see this in the final kill cam.
And Mad Cat.
One player to find, the time was running out, and he came out, and he just got the shot on him. Mad Cat knew where he was, and you can hear how pumped they are now.
Unbelievable play out of TCM right now, Bryce. Just Marky B going huge for his team right there. He's 7-3 now, and that's just massive play out of TCM.
Moose 3-1, Mad Cat 3-1.
And the score is now 4-0 in TCM's favor. They seem to be running away a little bit with this S&D, but you and I, Bryce, have seen this time and time again to never count out a team, even though the score is a big blank 0 on the board. It doesn't matter, as we are on board with Tommy for Epsilon. Can they turn it around here?
Well, let's see now, on board with Tommy. Going to bring out that thermal, see if he can make a pick. And if he can't get a pick, I always feel the picks on this, getting first pick is very important in any S&D map. But on this one, I feel like it's just so much more valuable because of the way this map works and because both teams have to stall.
Yep, and there you see some fire being exchanged by Tommy, trying to pick off that player for TCM who's in top red. We're going to go ahead and guess that is Swanee up there, as that's usually the position he plays. So Tommy now doing a lot of work out of white for his team. He's just firing off a lot of shots, being a nuisance here. But they haven't opened up the map with anything yet, but finally Moose picks up one for for TCM, and that's going to be Jerd going down for Epsilon. They do manage to bring it back, picking up Marky B as well, and now you're going to see Tommy pushing up. He picked up Moose also there, so Mad Cat and Gunchi left alive for TCM, but here comes Tommy. Tommy's making moves. They do have to get that bomb down, though.
Mad Cat in 1 versus 2. He does get taken down now, and it's first point on the board for Epsilon. And you can see them changing there. They can see the concentration on their face. They've got a point, but it's still a long road back into the search and destroy.
Yep, it absolutely is. Being down 4-0 is no joke. They do manage to bring down 1 round there from TCM. So now you see on the scoreboard, it is 4-1. And Epsilon does have the advantage of going into the defensive side here, Brycey. The defense is usually where where your team wants to win a round. You know, it's usually the easier side to have. When you're on defense, you just don't allow the other team to plant the bomb, and you win your round. So it's a solid play here, especially on a map by Freight, like Freight. You know, if you stay alive here on Freight, you can pretty much control the map.
Moose has managed to get
But
that bomb down.
there you go. Look at that.
Oh, look at the shots going in. Moose is not able to pick him up. They're just being very cautious now. Getting this bomb down and having all 4 players up, it actually makes it really hard for Epsilon. There's going to be so many guns on this map, keeping an eye on the choke points.
And I like this play out of Moose, actually. He's just being very patient here. They do have the bomb down, and he's just checking and he's being just patient in a great spot on the map. Not going to be in too much trouble from that area.
Oh, Moose with another shot as well. 1 man left, and it's going to be him as Moose picks up the 3rd. Moose, the factor 7-2 now, as he's just been playing so much out of his skin. Calm as you like, go for the reload. Sit down as well, Flux.
Oh my goodness, big 3-piece coming out of Moose right there to defend that bomb. TCM just going so massive individually for their team, and now Moose 7-2 on the scoreboard. Again, making the case for that MVP.
I love the fact TCM are winning. However, I'm a little bit afraid of the lights in the studio. The amount of noise coming from that booth. They are shaking it to its very core, and I think they're also shaking Epsilon to their very core. They haven't had this much of an issue. They are the only team in this tournament not to drop a map, TCM.
Well, let's see if they can actually manage to make it happen here. I mean, again, you can't count Epsilon out, and so we're on board with Tommy yet again, and he has got the hybrid scope here, and he's kind of moving back and forth between that thermal and his dot here. Yep, he's looking for that pick, and doors are opening and closing quite a bit here. Pricey.
They really are. They're just, like I said, counterplay after counterplay. Tommy gets tagged up, manages to escape. Let's jump on board with somebody a little bit further upfield. Flux is looking to make a move now. Can he try and get a kill here and make the difference? You usually see Flux in this kind of area when he's trying to challenge. He does see a man up top, and the man is not looking at him. The cover from his teammate was not enough, and Marky B is going to drop. But they come out, and he's going to be Mad Cat back on him. Swanee now going to try and challenge.
And I love this use of the buddy system by both teams right here. Jerd now last alive for TCM, for Epsilon, and now it's going to be a 1v1, Gunchi versus Jerd.
It is now. Jerd has to put the bomb down. Gunch just has to survive. And there we go. It could be the plant now. We've got to be very quiet. We do not want to give this one away. Bomb down, though, and it's going to now be the 1 versus 1. Gunchi has to find him or defuse.
And Jerd deciding to play a little spot right there and decides otherwise. Getting in a little bit of different position here. He's still thinking about where he wants to go, it seems like. Gunchi, in the meantime, has jumped on that bomb. Let's see if he's actually going for that.
Oh, no, not another ninja. Not another ninja.
They're
going to get it again.
Epsilon.
The second time they've done that to Epsilon now. Jerd being so crazy
and
with
look
it.
at Marky B with the hand waves inside the booth. Huge plays out TCM that round. And Brycey, they look so dominant in that S&D.
They really did. A lot of people have been saying Epsilon are the favorite, and I was sitting there going, these two teams haven't played before. They picked up Mad Cat for a very good reason from Epsilon when he came across, and just unbelievable.
Yeah, great plays out TCM right there. Marky B and Moose heading the way for that team.
Yep.
So that is going to be a 2-0 series lead for TCM over Epsilon here in the European Championship Grand Final.
Yes.
Brycey, we'll be back after a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, no. We're going to keep going on, apparently. We're going to stay here at the moment.
I lied.
We are not going to go to a commercial break. What we are going to do, however, is remind you of the voting for the MVP. Guys, who is the MVP at the moment? I think me and you have got a certain favourite. I'm kind of thinking Moose might be a factor for us.
I'm still thinking it's Moose as well.
So, but if you do want to, it's hashtag TCM, followed by the player on TCM. So that's Moose, Marky, Mad Cat, or Gunchi. And if you want a player from Epsilon, of course, it's hashtag Epsilon, then the player of your choice, be that Swanee, Jerd, Flux, or Tommy. And obviously, you can tweet who you think is the MVP.
That should be popping up on your screen here, the Epsilon voting side. But again, you know, TCM just going so massive. I'm glad we're not taking a commercial break because I actually do want to talk a little bit about that S&D. I mean, TCM just had this crazy strategy, it seemed like, that map, you know. Epsilon started with that rush plant, and TCM countered it by rushing the defuse, and then you saw TCM kind of go the same route. They on the other, you know, later on in the round, they went straight for a rush plant also and said, Epsilon, you can't play these games with us because we're just going to play them right back. And I think ultimately that's just what helped them win that round.
TCM are looking stronger at the moment. Like I said, you got to remember here, TCM are actually the current European champions, and they actually tweeted out earlier saying we're ready to defend our European title. We're going to win it all over again. They were prepared. After they took down Tech earlier, they looked so strong. They actually kind of crushed Tech a little bit, but I was expecting a closer game when I was watching, but it wasn't. And they're doing the same against Epsilon.
Yeah, and just looking so strong. And there you see the Epsilon team in their booth. And they certainly have to gather themselves right now. That's going to be Jared on your left and Flux there in the middle of your screen. And they are certainly thinking right now. You see Flux is contemplating something right now, and he certainly should be.
Probably the fact that he got dropped from this team for Monstercat, who come from Epsilon.
Well,
it's got to be playing on his mind a little bit.
I wasn't going to be that brutal with it, but you were, Brycey, so you know, obviously.
You have to give the fans their facts.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, that's what makes us follow this scene. You know, the storylines between the players and teams. And here you go, as we are about to start this Blitz round, and who are you taking on this one? This is going to be Warhawk Blitz. Epsilon with their backs against the wall. They have to win 3 straight maps now.
So it's going to be really Flux running this objective with Jared. I'm thinking Tommy will probably put on a big show as well, but whether or not they can keep a lid now on the hyped TCM team is a very different story.
Yeah, so we're on board with Jared from Epsilon. He goes down, pushing up the left side of the map for Epsilon, and now we're going to switch over to TCM and Gunchi. As Gunchi's playing an AR here, he is locking down the right side of the map for his squad, and he's going to move over here to the middle lane.
He is certainly, and he's going to be another fight. Marky B actually getting 2 now by the goal, so we're going to switch over to him. We're going to get it if there's one more player, and he's going to try and knee slide, but just gets denied before he can get in. Oh,
but great plays by Marky B, setting up the map control for his team, and now you see Gunchi. He's in a bit of a nice spot right there by Gunchi, trying to pick up exactly where these players are. He's going to know that player's still going to be behind him, but he's just going to go straight for it here. Can Gunchi actually make it happen? He cannot. He did get shut down right there by Swanee, his former teammate as well. So Swanee picking up a couple big kills there. Madcat as well in your feed. And Swanee now 4-1 for the Epsilon squad.
He's just trying to find these players here. Flux, you can hear so much conversation. Like I said, we are right next to the booth, and I can barely hear it. They are screaming instructions to each other to find these players and try to keep going forward. Jamming on board with Swanee now. The guy is 4-1, pushing forward. He's going to now try and set up. Swanee loves to get in this corner here and lock it down.
And that's where Swanee's headed. He's right outside Diner right now, but he's actually deciding not to go for that position. Instead, his teammate does pick up a Blitz capture. It's now 1-1 as both teams trade. Marky B picking up a capture for TCM, and then Flux on the other side for Epsilon. So very, very close round here as Epsilon just gets taken out right there. That's Jared and Tommy going down. So TCM doing a good job of defending their base, and now both teams fighting over middle map control.
Yeah, they are. Like I said, the thing about these two teams is they will be looking for I've actually lost my word there. They'll be looking for a certain player. If they can, they're going to know exactly where everybody is running. They're going to know typical strategies as Flux just makes him sit down and moving forward now. So they're going to go on the defense. When they defense, they're just going to come back, filter back out, look for those players in their hiding spots, and then push out. It's going to be a very calculated game of Blitz.
Yeah, now this is a chess match right here. This is TCM 4 stacked in their base, and you also have 4 Epsilon members pushing up right here. They are going to start making moves. Flux opens up with a big kill right there. Tommy and Jared are still threatening. Somebody does get in. That was Jared capping for Epsilon as they now take the lead, but TCM still has to worry about, I think it's Tommy that's still around in the base here.
It is. He's eventually getting taken down. Moose tees him through the truck.
Oh, Swanee.
And now they're moving out. Hold on 1 second. There's going to be Marky B. He's gone all the way around the back for the trade, and it's now gone 2-2. They have brought it back even.
Yeah, big play out of Marky right there, just going for the overextend, picking up that capture to tie things up at 2-2. And now we're on board with Gunchi, picking up a big kill right there in the TCM base to defend it. So now you see no players there for Epsilon threatening anymore. And again, we're going to have a battle in the middle of the map.
It certainly is. Now, Warhawk for me is the map that is absolutely criminal for people sneaking past others. The cover and the amount of routes into these blitz points is so much more than any other map. It's the map you're really going to see a lot of team players just try to sneak in and go through different routes.
Yeah, and there you see Marky B is actually getting quite aggressive on the left-hand side of the map there. Again, doesn't manage to push through, but look at this. Madcat, as they were paying attention to that, gets through the middle lane, but he gets shut down just inches away from capturing that goal. And now Marky B back in his base, just trying to clean it out of any Epsilon players that are there.
You got to wonder what would happen if Mancat got a knee slide in there. But he did manage to get one as Marky B goes for the shank. And it's now 2-2 versus these two teams. And you know what? It's so close once again. Neither team giving anything up as they're trying to switch as players trade across the map. And both teams are just fighting for Dominion.
Yeah, you see Flux right here. He's just hovering around the middle of the map, checking it back his left and making sure that's covered. He does have a teammate there in tow, picking that up as well. But Red Truck here, he's getting some shots fired from that area. He throws a grenade, but that player makes a great move right there. I believe that was Mad Cat. He just kind of anticipated that nade coming out of Flux and moved over towards the tank, picking up a big kill right there.
Look at TCM. There's 4 of them around Epsilon's goal, and they're now going to go for the trade.
This is not good right now for Epsilon. Epsilon, gave up on their base, overextended. TCM just kind of went for it, and they do now have a man advantage in their own base. So here we go. TCM is actually going to come out with the advantage here, I believe. Actually, no, it is 4-4 now.
They managed to hold it, but look, Jerd's going to go around the back and going to get it. So even if they trade again, he's going to be able to get in on the point, and he has. Epsilon are 1-0 up, but it looks like the enemy team's going to go again. It's 5-5 with 30 seconds left to go on this half. And like I said, these teams, they just counter each other everywhere.
Oh yeah, and there's another actually big kill right there in your feed. That's going to be Marky B pushing up for TCM. He is actually going to be going for it right now. Can we get over to Marky B in time? He does get shut down as he does move for that capture. So 5-5 is the score, 10 seconds to go. You have another player moving in right now. That's going to be Moose. It's going to be Moose.
Oh, he's got 3
players, but big stun grenade right there out of Moose. Can he make it work for him? No, he can't.
No. They were just mob-handed there. There were 3 of them all stacked up to try and take down Moose. And you know what? TCM seemed fairly happy with that side. And you know what? I think they are going to be happy. I think they prefer attacking the other way.
Yeah, it's not much you can do right there when you're 1v3. You have 3 players right there and you're out in the open. So great job trying to get there, but just wasn't going to happen there for Moose. And 5-5 is the score after the first half of Blitz. If you're just joining us, TCM leads the series here in our European Championship Grand Final. They are up 2-0 over Epsilon. So Epsilon having to win the next 3 maps to win that European Championship and the 15,000 euros that comes with it.
They certainly are now on the sticks with Flux. Let's see what he can do. This man is known for his objective work. He did the job of the TCM team now. He picked up 1 kill and he's moving forward very quickly. Here come the rest of the Epsi squad at the same time. They are going to be trying to just lock it down. They need to make a few more kills. The spawn did not go in their favor. TCM are back in their base. And they're going to come through. He's going to be taken down as soon as he pushed.
Yeah, but he does have a teammate there following him as well. And there you see on your screen, tweet us your MVP. Use the hashtags for whichever player between these 2 teams you feel like has been the MVP here in the European Championship. And right now, Jerd is threatening TCM, and he just can't get through. He gets taken down right there. So 2 players down for Epsilon, and TCM's going to be making the move up the map.
They are now Moose. They're going to be a little bit cautious here. Like I said, it is about getting those numbers. If they can make a wave of kills, they will push up very rapidly and try to push these spawns out. It is very difficult. I'm actually going to jump on board with this man here. If Marky makes this, he's got the opportunity to push right round and push the Epsilon spawn back into the street.
Yeah, Marky now, he's an American, and he's kind of jumping in and out of this window, trying to hold it down. There is a nice capture there. However, one of his teammates didn't manage to push through. So now Marky B is going to feel a little more comfortable being aggressive. TCM with a big threat coming around the corner. Marky B is going to face 1. Can he pick up that kill?
He's trying to get the headshot. There's so little to hit. He does not manage to get it, unfortunately, but that's what they were trying to do. Marky went in. They started pushing Epsilon on the street. They didn't really have the numbers to carry it off, though.
Yeah, just going to make it happen, but here comes Moose again, keeping the pressure on for Epsilon. So TCM with Moose making that move, they're just playing aggressive a little bit now, and I like that play out of them. Be the aggressor here on the map and see if you can push the other team back. That's how you're going to create opportunities for your team. And it seems like TCM's doing a little bit more of that. Epsilon's being a little more sneaky, though, as Jerd is making moves.
Look at the sneak.
And
Look at the sneak.
He just didn't. Jerd just slipped on by. Great play out of him. Didn't really take too much.
Mr. does what he wants, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. There you go. So Jerd, huge play out of him, and a big knife as well. Jerd turning things up here for this Epsilon squad. Can he be the difference they need?
He can be at the moment. Jerd just continuing to float around his home base, trying to put another gun down. There's another headshot he's trying to get. And just look at this. He's trying to put bullets on now far range, and he's managed to get it as well. Jerd is trying to heat up here. He's on a 6 streak at the moment. TCM are stacked fully around. Epsilon really need to get a wave of kills so they can push out.
Oh, and that player there just waited for Jerd. I believe that was Gunshi. Just did not make a move until Jerd committed, and Gunshi actually picks up 2 right there. And now you see Epsilon defending their base. They have all 4 players backed up there, so Marky B is certainly going to have to be careful in his position.
Marky B just being so cautious. Sees one player there, and he's going to do the same thing. He's going to slip. He's going to be seen through the window, surely. They're going to see him before he can get in. He gets a no!
Oh, that would have
close.
been the game-tying blitz capture right there for Marky B. He gets shut down, however, so 7-6. Still the lead here for Epsilon. That would have been a massive play for TCM had he managed to do that, but just did not manage to get through.
This is bad times now for TCM. They're going to be getting frustrated. So close to getting in several times now. Marky B, the long shot, the vision on that man.
Yeah, and Marky B, both him and Gunchi are turning it up right now for TCM. Big knife coming out of Marky B. Great reaction right there out of him. And now he's going to be pushing up the left-hand side of the map. It is wide open for TCM. They have seen that lane open up, and look at that, Marky B putting some shots in across the map. He does have his teammates pushing up the left-hand side, though. This is going to be Madcat, but he gets shut down from Diner. So Epsilon,
make a move.
Epsilon's not full, but you do have Epsilon. Somebody's moving up right there, and that's going to be
disastrous for them right now.
And here comes Flux. There's a player right next to him, and he can't get through. So still 7-6 now in our final minute of this Blitz gameplay. Epsilon does have that lead, but just barely by 1. Can TCM bring this back?
They've been trying to get outs time and time again, and Epsilon are countering them at every single point. And TCM, like I said, it's going to be so frustrating for them now. They know the time's running away. Madcat going for the knife. Doesn't manage to get it. It's so rare Madcat will miss something like that. Marky going down as well. Moose going to go around the front. The problem is it's wide open.
Yep, and now that they have committed, TCM leaves their base open. Tommy puts one through, 30 seconds to go. TCM has to capture right now. You see plenty of triangles on the map moving up for TCM. They're going to have to get one as quickly as possible right here. They only have a few more seconds before it's going to become mathematically impossible for them to win this round. And it looks like that just might be it, as Epsilon...
No, they're going to go down.
Epsilon going to secure map number 3 here at the European Grand Final. And they are going to be down 2-1 in the series, but managing to stay alive.
Now that was a chess game of Call of Duty if I've ever seen one. Have you ever seen two teams that tactical and that standoffish? Like I said, they were just, every single time there was a play, there was a counter play, there was a save. How many times do people die on the edge of Blitz portals?
Yeah, and you know, I was going back to what I was saying about the play styles in Blitz. You know, North American teams typically play that very standoffish, and I feel like that was more of what we see in the North American gameplay of this game mode, where two teams just have to duke it out, and it's all about positioning. So, you know, that's great gameplay out of both of these teams in that Blitz. So it's just beautiful to watch both of those teams just giving it their all, but ultimately Epsilon coming out on top, staying alive here in the championship match.
Yeah, look, the TCM look a little bit more subdued now. You can see actually on your player cam, they're looking like a little bit more subdued. Epsilon look the same.
Yeah.
In fairness, Jared has been known for his poker face for quite a while. So we're actually going to jump to a couple of highlights now. The first one, I believe, is going to be Madcat with him being denied for this Blitz. This is where they start to get so frustrated. Madcat, he had it. He was so close and didn't get the sprint, and he just gets taken down.
Oh, man, he got ragdolled right there. And now Marky B on the other side trying to get in as well. And boom, just as he almost knee slid in. Look at that, how close that is. TCM just managing to get shut down just before they get the captures. Epsilon doing everything they had to do on that map to win. Yeah. That's why they came out on top. Those two denies right there by Epsilon were all the difference as they take that map.
Well, that's it. I think they just frustrated TCM. That's what it really, I mean, you saw Madcat, he went for the knife and then jumped back and tried to hit the shot. Now, for me, Madcat would hit that 9 out of 10 times. He's just looking a little bit wobble, and it's that tiny difference with him being frustrated at not being able to get in that might make a difference on that kind of map.
Yeah, and that's why we love competitive Call of Duty, Brycey. I mean, it comes down to little split-second, just tiny little, it's a game of inches sometimes as well here in Blitz. I mean, just little moments where you think you have it and you just don't. And Epsilon, again, taking advantage of those situations, coming out on top, map number 3, so 2-1 the series.
You can see the adrenaline jumping into the system there. You can see Swanee shaking. They're ready for this. They know just how important it is. They're trying to remain calm and composed. Tommy looks like he's talking to his team about it.
Yeah, and there you go. Swanee's getting some love from his squad now, getting everybody hyped up a little bit. You see our official there giving some instruction. We're getting ready to kick off map number 4. It's going to be Domination on Strike Zone. Domination on Strike Zone, probably my favorite game mode to watch. It's just nonstop action, pure carnage. Smallest map here that we have in Call of Duty Esports, so players are so close to each other at all times.
This map for me, it's a unique domination map, simply because of the way the points are laid out. It's a triangle. What you usually see, especially over here, is that they just rotate. Yeah. It's basically like a game of chase around the map.
Yeah.
If one team gets a point, the other team actually just rotates to the next one.
Yeah.
There's no horizontal line. There's no, oh, we get A and B or get C and B. It's, you know what, you get whatever two you can get.
Oh, that's right. I mean, you have the triangle set up here in Domination with the flags, as opposed to a lot of the maps that we see have, linear allocations of the flags. So it's interesting. You know, the rotation is the big part of playing Strike Zone Domination. Anytime you have a triangular setup with the Domination flags, rotation is so key. You're not pushing through choke points. You're actually rotating and avoiding the other team as much as possible while maintaining the choke point at your home flag. So here we go. We are now on board with Flux from Epsilon. And Epsilon now with the early break, they're just defending that C flag actually. And I like that play out of them. Now they do have one player for TCM on the A flag.
There are only one flag in play at the moment, and it's going to actually be TCM's. They're just going to try and hold it. TCM would look like they're now going to have to try and break out and get onto this with them. Let's jump on board with Mago, who's currently 3-0. Grenades going in. He does manage to get some hit markers. They all go down as Marky B gets a 2, and it does mean they're going to push straight into it. Nobody's even gone to B yet.
Yeah, but I really like that play off the break by Epsilon. They knew TCM was going to push for their C flag, so they just defended it for a little while. It worked out for a second, but now TCM managing to gain the favor. And here we go. We're on board with Gunshi now. He is going to be challenging on the top bridge. Not getting any hit markers right there. 2 players on C flag for Epsilon. And now you're going to see Epsilon gaining a little bit of control. They have 2 flags, B and C.
It is, and they're going to try and just keep on it in here. There's always the danger. You've got to try and figure out where the other team is rotating. As a player, he's now going to come through kitchen. Gunchy's going to go to catwalk, and he's coming up to this player in the middle. It's Marky B to hold it off, and he does. So he's going to hold off B, and going on now is Madcat on the A point. He goes around the corner, doesn't manage to get the second one. However, they are going for C for the triple cap. If they can hold off at A, they're going to be able to do it. I'm desperately trying to find that player, not able to get him, but he's going to be Joe recapturing. Marky B going to challenge on A.
Yeah, now Marky B is going to be able to pick up a big kill right there, and he does manage to get it. Huge play out of Marky B right there. That is what will win you championships, Brycey. Picking up those clutch kills, those big 2 pieces that you need, especially on a map like Strike Zone. It's so small, Marky B just going so clutch for TCM.
It is. Marky B is still in there trying to wallbang him, not able to do it. It gets taken down as well. TCM now have to be careful because they're still getting a good spawn here, Epsilon. They're getting their home flag spawn. It's Tommy that we're now on board with. He's going to see one player up there. He doesn't manage to get the shot off. No support either. Another player coming to support TCM. He's going to get taken down as TCM now are going to take that C point. And all of Epsilon go down. Swanee with a double kill to stop it. He managed to get the neutral. He gets a 3rd as well, shutting out TCM completely.
Yeah, now Swanee's on his lonesome here on the C flag, but he does manage to capture, and he's not even moving. I love that play out of Swanee as we switch over to Madcat now for TCM. He gets taken out as well. Epsilon capturing the B flag. Now Epsilon on every flag. That's going to be a pain for TCM. And look at this. Oh, the trophy system just saved them. And Swanee not managing to pick up those kills just yet. So Epsilon does manage to get the A flag back. And now TCM does manage to get the A flag back. And now Swanee's going to have his work cut out for him as Epsilon need these flags.
Look, I mean, Swanee can get set up here. He's just going to be an absolute nightmare. He's one of his favorite places down the bottom there by Pro Shop. Not able to do it though. TCM now slowly gathering into the lead. They have held the 2 for longer, and they are all up. You can see them setting up now. Madcat is setting up, looking at the corridor. Can he just manage to hold this one down?
And we're just going to stay on board with Madcat here. He's being so patient watching the B flag. Maybe we should switch over to Moose. There's Moose on your screen. He's going to be challenged here by 2 players. Can he make this happen? Big kill right there. Doesn't manage to get the second. I think he got caught off a little off guard, excuse me. And now Tommy is going to be trying to do some work, covering his teammate, getting the choke point. And Tommy does manage to clean up that kill. His teammate does go down the A flag. However, they do get the contest now, Brycey. And there's another big kill by Tommy. Huge plays being made by both sides, but Tommy gonna have to get this flag captured.
He should be able to just hold it in now. He's gonna get taken down, but he gets it first. Swanee coming up, going catwalk, trying to hold it down. He goes down. Players trading all over the map now. Marky B, the man we're on board with. He did such clutch work here last time. They're gonna try and hold it 1 point neutral and 1 point apiece. These players, like I said, they're trying to keep it as close as possible by the look of it.
Yeah, but TCM does have the advantage in the overall score. They are up by 11 points right now, so that contest is actually good for them. They don't have to just jump on the flag and capture, but now that Epsilon is located around that A flag, they say, hey, let's go ahead and capture the C flag, and they make them rotate. Gunshi picks up on that, knows that there's going to be a player running for that C flag through bottom pro, and he just plays it patiently, so great job by TCM locking that down.
Here it is now, Marky. But you can actually see TCM slowing down their playstyle a little bit. They're just trying to hold a little bit more. Marky actually rotating out. They're scared of the rotation actually coming in. See, but no, the shank on a Marky, and it's over to Madcat. Madcat 17-3. He goes down as well. Now on to Gunshi. and he's going to have to try and do some work. Are they going to get the rotate? But Epsilon are now going to have 2 points. There's 35 seconds left. They're going to only bring the deficit down and not eliminate it.
But look at this. See, Gunchi realizes all those players are in B. He's going to get the 8 cuts right here, cutting off any players coming towards the A flag for his team so they can try and get that capture. He unfortunately does go down. His teammate on the A flag is going to have to try and go big, but he can't make it happen. So here we go. TCM trying to get these players off the C flag. Epsilon showing some signs of life here towards the end of the round, but they are going to be down in double digits, Brycey, heading into the second half.
Yeah, they are. And so I said TCM just trying to hold on here. They're going to bring it back, and it's going to be 65-77. TCM lead again on this domination. They won the first half of the first map. They were also leading, and they're going to be more than happy about that.
Yeah, so 12-point differential here. TCM is going to have the 12-point advantage heading into the second half of domination here on Strike Zone. If you are just joining us and you haven't caught most of the match, TCM do lead Epsilon in the European Grand Final here. It is 2-1 in favor of TCM. Yep, and look at Madcat going huge as a Slayer for his squad. 21-13 with 2 captures for Madcat. So that's something to report for all of you considering MVP voting. But in the end, again, TCM trying to close the door right here on Epsilon and take home that 15,000 euros.
Yeah, they have the advantage now going into the second half. If they can keep playing it the way they've been playing, they should be able to see this one out. But it's only going to take a player from Epsilon just to go huge. And you know what? It could be any single one of them. The talent in this squad is evident in every single member.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen nothing but skill coming out of both of these teams so far. TCM again, you know, they've just made the different plays that have made a huge difference in the game. So the situations have been in their favor, and they've capitalized. We saw a big 2-piece, you know, like I said, out of Marky B there on the A flag that round. And again, that's what's going to win you a championship when you're defending flags and picking up big kills like that, like Marky B had in that round. That is what's going to make TCM your European championship if they manage to win this second half.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You are exactly right. I mean, people like Madcat there, you can't drop that many kills and not think it's going to be a factor. 21 for 13, really putting the hammer down. When you've got a player doing that, like I said, it frees up room for the other players to just kind of maneuver around the map.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, even though you see Gunchi's score right there, you know, he's 6-11, but he has 4 captures. You know, he's playing the objective for his team while Madcat's providing the space for him to do that in. And, you know, anytime that Gunchi takes a kill, but maybe he gets a flag cap right before he goes down. That's the big difference right there. TCM using that teamwork, and I felt like them locking down the map once they gained those flags was the difference there. You saw Gunchi position himself in great places, even though his score doesn't reflect that in the kills. He was just there for his team to buy time for his squad to rack up points over Epsilon.
Yeah, it would, and like I said, it's that kind of team play. They rely on each other's strengths. And they're going to jump in now. We are going to jump into the second half of this one. One of the things you actually saw on the player camera there was something Madcat's quite famous for. He always calls the shots. He's always very vocal on what he thinks they should do. And going forward, Margie B's the communicator. He'll just be constantly talking throughout the entire map. But when that map is over, it's kind of Madcat who's pointing where to go. Yeah,
and Madcat is the hype player too. You know, he's always very vocal, like you said, and he gets happy and jumps out of that chair quite a bit. So I think that
the game's underway. We're just loading in. A little bit longer than usual. You can actually hear the players go up against each other. Let's get straight into this game.
So TCM, again, can close this one out here, Brycey. They do lead by 12 points, so that's going to be the difference. And the game has already started, actually. So we're jumping in 30 seconds into this round, and we're going to be on board with Marky B.
It's all tied at the moment. We haven't mentioned much there. However, TCM do have the advantage. We're going to have to come back. Marky B is going to get shut down. Now on to Gunchi on B. He's going to have people come against him, though, shut down as well. It's up to Madcat to try and hold it down. Gets away with it. He's going to see one. Gets the second one as well as Madcat goes big to hold it down for his team.
And here comes a player coming through kitchen now. Madcat does manage to get that capture, even though he didn't get the lunge on the knife or anything on that knife. He did pick up that 2-piece huge play. Gunchi going big there at the C flag. You hear him screaming from the booth. They are yelling Brycey right now. They are so hyped.
That is some serious noise.
They want to be that European Grand Champion, and TCM is so close to doing that. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go.
Now Madcat is all alone in B, and there's actually going to be 4 members of the Epsilon squad come in, and they just drop him straight away. They knew where he was. There's no hiding from them, Madcat. So it does look like TCM are going to go for the rotation. They're doing it in great style. They've managed to just come straight in. But look, Epsilon are doing the exact same thing. This is what we said about this map. You don't always contest the point that's being taken. You just go to the next one.
Yep, so it's just basically a roundabout. You know, it's a big circle that you make with your team, but somebody's got to try and cut off the other team from crossing that part of the circle, and here we go. Gunchi, huge kill right there onto the top catwalk, but doesn't manage to stay alive there on that C flag. TCM actually down quite a few members now, and Epsilon.
Oh, look at that.
Epsilon looking to pick up 2 flags. Can Mad Cat get that hit marker with
He's
that
going to get there in time. He's going to manage to do it. You just see the player. Doesn't matter. Teammate cleans it up as they're going to try and hold it down. Mad Cat is just so casual when he made them first 2 kills. I'm on board with Gunchi. The man is 8-3.
But Epsilon actually did just contest the A flag, and here we go. 2 Epsilon players on the stairs here. Can Moose make it happen for his team? But no, he doesn't expect that other player for Epsilon to be around there.
He's
but,
in a good position.
But here comes Mad Cat. There is one more player there. He does manage to pick up 1 kill, and his teammate there, Marky B, picks up the other. So TCM does manage to gain control, and now Epsilon with their backs against the wall.
They are so trying to get into a player who's alive. These teams trading all over the map. It's going to be Tommy trying to secure it for his team. He's now going to come down. He has support of his teammates as well. They're all in. Look at them fight over the neutral point. TCM and Epsilon are about to go head-to-head. Gunchi coming in. Managing to get 1. Magheads gets another. As they're pushing them down so quickly, and TCM come out on top. They're going to get their 2-point again. They already have the advantage from the first half. They're ahead again in the second. This is now TCM's to lose.
Yep, TCM now looking very strong to take home this final. 2 minutes left to go. It is all up to Epsilon to make one big push here. They're going to have to gain all sorts of control on this map, but look at Gunchi again, setting up in a great position, and Gunchi went 6-11 on the first half, and now 11-4 for his team.
Oh, look at that. He's just gone for the perfect rotate. His teammates actually spreading across the map in spawn, so they're going to contest A. They're going to try and hold one. They're actually going to 2-piece there. Who's trying to get that one? Actually, was that Moose just got a 1 kill, but he did get traded against, but they've held on TCM here. They've managed to get 2 points themselves. And it is going to be TCM still leading. They're now 15 points ahead on this half.
Yeah.
They were 12 points ahead on the last half. That is a big number now for Epsilon to overcome.
Yeah, they're going to have to get 3 flag captures right here, Brycey, really soon. I mean, they're still in it. They could hold it with 2, but they'd have to get that right now. I mean, it is a big differential. It is certainly going to have to be a 3 cap at some point in this round now in the last minute and 15 seconds for Epsilon if they can actually want to have a chance at winning this, but Epsilon actually do have,
no!
Epsilon do have 2 flags here. Can they make the push? Look at this, they're all converging on that B flag. TCM just trying to defend it, knowing that they probably can win this game by locking down the B flag alone. Moose now picking up a big kill.
Is this their tactic? Oh, no, look at the spawn. The spawn from Gunchi has spawned outwards. TCM have held B away from them as well. As Gunchi's going to be able to take this one, and it should be all over. It should be TCM. If they lock this in, I can't see them coming back.
Oh, that was a great push by Epsilon, but here we go. Still 30 seconds on the clock. I mean, I don't know if it's even mathematically
that's not
possible.
Doable. That is not doable. It can't be doable. That's got to be hit. There's no way
TCM
even
is
a triple cap is
celebrating
done.
already. We hear in the booth.
It is. It's done. That is it.
There you go. TCM are going to be your European Grand Champions. Big games over Epsilon. They're ultimately going to win the series 3-1 here, and I expect Gunchi to stop. The whole stage. The whole stage is just shaking right now. No, there they are on your screen. So happy right now. Hugs coming out from the TCM members. They are now 15,000 euros richer, taking home the trophies. They're so hyped right now, Brycey.
Look at that. They have blood, sweat, and tears have gone into this game mode. TCM are the champions. They're going to win first seed, European Championship, and 15,000 euros to take home.
Oh, Marky B is so fired up right now. You can just see it on his face.
Relief.
Yeah.
Look at the relief on his face. Gunchi went big in that second half, 15-6 for him. And you know what? In the end, they just looked comfortable quite a long way through it. The Blitz was the closest map.
Yeah, I don't know who to call the MVP in this one, Brycey, but at the end of the day, the fans get the vote. So definitely tweet in your vote for MVP. Use the hashtags here. Brycey, that was a great matchup right there. We saw some amazing skills, some great plays too. That double knife there at the end was pretty intense as well.
It was.
But ultimately, Gunchi, just like, look at his score right there. Just unbelievable.
6 captures as well. Look at 6 captures for Gunchi at the same time. He put in serious work. This is why I said it's going to be hard to choose an MVP. If you want to, you can tweet in, obviously, whatever player you want, hashtag TCM and then the player, or if it's from Epsilon, hashtag Epsilon and then the player as well. So that is going to be all from us at the moment.
Yeah, I think we're going to give some trophies out.
Oh,
right?
I think we're going to keep going as well. Oh, no, apparently we have the analyst in the studio.
Oh, okay. So
that's who it's going to. We're going to go over to you guys.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. It's been great casting the European Grand Championship here. Big round of applause for all of our teams here.
Yes,
and all the teams qualifying for the World Championship.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Wow, that was incredible. How are you feeling after all that? Are you shocked?
I am not shocked per se. You know, I'm really happy for TCM. You know, they fully deserve it. They put in the hours. You know, Epsilon were the favourites to win. I did predict that Epsilon would win, but I
kind of blame you because you made me pick, and then I told you it would jinx it, and I said, "Do you not recall?" And it's your fault.
I don't recall that. No, but I mean, they played really well. Well done to TCM. I'm so happy for the guys. Marky B, especially. Big fan of Marky B.
Should we take it through the maps? If you've got something to say. So we started off obviously with Domination on Sovereign. What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I mean, twice now, Epsilon's it's their strongest map and game type, and they've lost it twice. TCM took advantage of those, and beat their one-on-ones and played really well. Took the map. It's Epsilon's strongest game type and map.
Yeah, I mean, it was really back and forward the kind of whole time,
Yeah.
especially with Sovereign. It's such a map like that where I think a lot of people said Flux tends to kind of try and control B a lot, but I think Moose was shutting him down really well.
Yeah.
The ARs, Madcat and Swanee, were just fighting each other the whole time. It was really, really close game at TCM edged it, obviously.
Everyone's been made. Like TCM just made the important gunfights and made the right plays. Like turned up in the high pressure situation.
And then obviously move on to S&D on Freight. Your thoughts on that, Zach?
Yeah, Freight was a really good map to watch. There were some major clutch kills, and with the update, when you go to defuse the bomb, it makes it a lot harder to hear. And there was some really good ninja diffuses for Moose. I mean, here.
Moose is here,
Yeah, I mean, you should always go for it. If you've got the opportunity to do it, 9 times out of 10, it's going to work. I reckon because the opposition players are least likely going to have a look. And Marky B's double kill here was extremely good. Now this headshot was such a good shot from Marky B. Brilliant kills, clutch kills, and they smashed them.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking over the S&D, there was one really standout player in my opinion, Moose. I think he just absolutely smashed it. It's so many clutch moments. I think he can take a bow, to be honest. We've seen Marky B had a clutch, Gunshi had a ninja defuse as well.
Yeah.
Moose had a 3v1. This is his here. It's absolutely class. All the players stood up when they had to. That's why they won.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, that every player turned up when it mattered, and they took risky plays. Like Marky B going for that ninja defuse was like such a risky play, and it paid off. So props to them.
Yeah, and then next up, obviously, we have Blitz Warhawk.
Yeah, that was a really good game. So intense. I've not seen so many clutch kills on the flag on a Blitz game. I mean, it could have been avoided if some players did slide more. But I mean, it was an inch away from flag captures, and they were just getting taken down. It was so intense, and Epsilon did really well to take the map there.
It's one like literally just right close to the point, wasn't it? Just like literally a split second away.
I mean, I was sitting next to Josh during the game, and I think I said to him that
That was so unfortunate.
this was really the first map I've seen in a long time where almost every player made the right decision. I mean, everyone was sneaking past at the right time. They were leaving players, they were turning corners, and then the defenders were turning just at the right time and making the kill. Everyone played it perfect. That's why it was so close. It was so intense the whole time. The standout moment for me was Judge snuck down the right-hand side, left a player who passed him, then he's seen someone sitting on top of the truck, left him as well. He made the cap, and that put him the point ahead.
It's hard not to shoot, I think.
Yeah, that play literally more basically won because it was 6-6 at that point, and then Judd made that play, and then it made TCM have to change the way they play, get really aggressive, and then it's allowed Epsilon to sneak past.
And then finally, of course, Dom on Strike Zone.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much all guns blazing. I think in terms of Epsilon's point of view, they're coming up and they need to try and win and get a foothold in this game. But the rotation from TCM, and this is a great two-piece for Marky B here. He held off A flag for superbly. I mean, it's so hard to get an AR off of that behind that little pillar. Yeah. And the rotation that TCM did, every time there was a home flag being taken, straight away, instinctively rotate to the separate home flag, and we're really being a nuisance in neutralising them. So, really great play from TCM.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely what they've done best. As soon as Epsilon were on any of their flags at all, TCM were always looking to cap the next flag. They were never really 2 flags down at any point. They were always neutralising one. I think there was quite a long gun battle went on at A at one point, where they were just one player after another was jumping on. I think TCM capitalised. They capped the flag. So.
Yeah, going back to that point what Scott just said, at that time TCM were in the lead as well, so TCM could just allow to make Epsilon make the plays and just let sit back and use head glitches and make them come to them. So at that point it was more or less over.
I mean, you guys now excited to sort of see all these teams going forward, obviously to like the World Championships, and how do you think they're going to fare over there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to TCM going over and seeing how they fare. And especially after today's performance, I mean, they're going to be on such a high. I was speaking to Marky B, and he wants it. He wants to get as far as he can, make a statement that Europeans can compete at the top, and we've been making that statement over the past year or so. In previous COD championships, you've got Epsilon as well. They're going over. You've got Vitality. We've got so many good teams going out there. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually watched a few American streams as well, and I think that this is probably the closest it's ever been between the EU and the US, and when we see teams like Epsilon, TCM, and even Vitality as well, and maybe even Tech, I don't see why they couldn't compete with teams like Optic and Complexity. I mean, I could see Epsilon and TCM especially going really far in it.
Yeah, every team's got a huge opportunity to go win a lot of money. Like, no matter what, like, if you think you can, like, every team, it's been proven. For example, when Swanee attended last year with the Italian team, no one expected them to beat anyone. They ended up beating a team where was like a super team with Claystar and then 3 other Europeans. Like, anything can happen. It's such a high pressure situation and such a big tournament. People can just like turn up, but you'd never expect.
So one final question is MVP. What would be your call?
For that game, from my side, it would Marky B, just because he was pumping up his team. It was inspirational. Every time a round was win, you'd see him stand up, and he was absolutely brilliant. His gameplay as well.
I'm going to go with Gunshy, I think. I've not really seen the side to Gunshy where he stands up and he gets pumped and he gets loud, and I've seen that there. He was picking up 2 and 3 pieces, and he was getting everyone round about him into the game. When people's heads dropped, he was being the player that was motivating them as well, so it's big to see.
I'm kind of going to agree with Zach. Like, Marky B, to be fair, has received a fair bit of slack. Like, people don't think he's as good as others in the team, but he's proved everyone wrong. Like, today, like, him getting everyone mode and some of the plays he made, like, even if some of them were wrong, like, he just does so much for the team, and he's proved everyone wrong, as I said.
Well, I think we're going to go to those results, but I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure having you guys in the studio for this, and big congratulations to TCM. There we go. Oh, look, yeah.
Well, there you go. Boys, everyone in the room, everyone at home, please put your hands together for your European champions, TCM Gaming. Well done, guys. Well done, well done. Amazing performance, amazing performance. It's always sad when you kind of come to an end of an event like this, but you've got to celebrate the success of these guys. Joe, what did you think of their performance in the final there?
Oh, it was fantastic. I'll be the first to admit that I underestimated these guys. Their discipline, their teamwork, and it was a thing of beauty. Their team rotation and strike zone in that last domination map was just amazing. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like it.
Well, I mean, obviously, Mr. Moose, MVP of obviously all the viewers and that voting in. Tremendous performance from this man amongst obviously a great team.
All of them. I was watching each one, and I was impressed by all the guys. I kept trying to think of guys to call out, but the whole team was performing at their top.
Good stuff. They say that communication is key. What people might not be able to see at home is we've got a nice big grandstand, obviously soundproof booths. I was sat 200 yards away. I could still hear you screaming and shouting your communication to each other. Gunch, you've pretty much done it all in Europe. How does this success rank in your career so far?
As in Europe, yeah, it's definitely the best. I mean, we were all so hyped to win that game. Epsilon are a really strong team. Online, they've been giving us a good run for our money. They've been beating us most of the time. So that gave us the hunger to beat them, and we're so glad to pull it off. Good
stuff. There's some sweat on the brow. I know it. I know how much you put into it. Marky, how's your throat?
It's all right. It's not that bad, actually. It's better than expected.
So you must be over the moon. You walk away from London this weekend as European champion. That's that. How does that feel for you?
It feels good. I mean, we put in a lot of work for this event. Obviously, we wanted to win. We were kind of underdogs as such due to beforehand, and we wanted to prove everyone wrong.
Moose, MVP, congratulations, mate. Getting some love from the public. Well done. What kind of confidence is this going to give you guys going into LA?
A lot of confidence. This is more or less just the beginning. COD Champs is the massive tournament, and we're looking forward to doing it, going there and proving everyone wrong that we're the best team in Europe and one of the best in the world.
Good stuff. Love that. Yeah, there you go. That's gone down well. Madcat, when you qualified yesterday, you said you were pleased, but you weren't that pleased because you wanted to walk out of here European champion. Now that you've done that, are you finally happy?
No. No. I'm happy. We played Epsilon online and they just pulled our pants down every time. I couldn't do anything. I broke 5 headsets, 10 controllers. We got our pants pulled down. I just told the boys, like, just wait till that, man. I'm a different person, and hopefully I showed that this weekend, and we can go into LA with a strong mind.
Good stuff. Congratulations. Swizz, you weren't allowed in the booth. I know you're frustrated. You kind of make every shot. You turn every corner from the stand there. How proud are you of you boys?
I mean, like the guys have said, it's been so close with us that, well, it's actually been them winning everything against us, and to actually take it from them and prove that we're still the best team in Europe after winning I-Series, it's just, just look at their faces, that's all I have to say. Like, they just deserve it so much.
Great stuff, a lot of emotion. Well, congratulations, guys. So, we told you about these beautiful trophies. Joe's going to present you one, so please do come up, collect your prizes. Obviously, you win 15,000 euros. That's all yours. That's all yours. That's no one else's. Please come up and collect your prizes. Guys, go crazy for your European champions, TCM Gaming. Well done, guys. Amazing performance. There you go. Well done. Good stuff. Well done, Swizz. Well done, Swizz. Well, I'm afraid that brings us to the end of the European road of the Call of Duty Championships EU finals. 13 teams will represent us over in LA at the end of March. We can't wait to see how they do. These guys are bound to do well. They're going to be confident. Commiserations to Epsilon. They did well all weekend. But today is TCM Gaming's day. 15,000 euros, the title of European champions. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Joe, thanks to you. Thank you to Microsoft. Thank you to Activision Infinity Ward. Thanks to everybody that's tuned in and helped out. We'll see you in LA. Thanks very much. Take care.